Forgiveness gave me everything I needed. Shamika says this week's forgiveness helped me on my trip home to New York for the funeral of my foster mom. Yep, that's right. That's yet another story of the power of forgiveness. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the power of letting something go. Let's talk about the power of forgiveness in that from that perspective. That Shamika is a great example of someone who had to do the inside work to release that person of what they did, to release them of the hurt that they received on the other side of their care. And then later, you know, sometimes later doesn't happen, but later this person was able to tell them, I see from this perspective and I'm sorry. That happens sometimes it doesn't. But what we want to do, what I've noticed that we want to do, is that we want to do the inside work regardless. I have another student that just gave me the most beautiful testimony today, and it gave me chills to read her story, because she was sexually abused, and it happened by a family member. And for years, she was dealing with this abuse, and especially at a very pivotal time. I mean, anytime you get abuse is at a pivotal time, hello, right? But this was between the ages of 8 and 11, where you're still in your innocence and don't probably even know how to communicate exactly what you're receiving, especially when it's from an uncle, especially when it's from a family member, right? And for years, because some people don't want to hear you say that about their loved one. You don't want to hear it. The mom don't want to hear it. Sisters don't want to hear it. Aunties don't want to hear it. Cousins don't want to hear it. And so you start to silence within your abuse. You start to silence within your pain. And then you lose your voice to speak out, because you don't feel the support you need in order to say it. And when you have said it, they didn't believe you. Maybe you got the brunt of why it happened to you. And then you start to act out. There are a lot of people who act out, you know, in receiving that kind of abuse. And then people don't understand their behavior. And it's all symptoms of this root cause. But it looks like this is the cause, because there's symptoms. But it's all symptoms from this root cause. And so for years, she just suppressed. Didn't have the voice to say it anymore. Silenced. Right? And so she started to get therapy, and then we met, and we just started to do the work. We started to talk about it. We started to forgive. We started to let go. We started to come into the realization of how does it help you to hold on to it, though? How does by holding on to the pain of it, right? There's this beautiful quote I shared with you guys last week by Marianne Williamson. It says, the moment we stop dragging our past into our present, we are reborn. Very powerful. Maybe difficult to do, but a very powerful statement and very true. The moment we stop dragging our past into the present, we are reborn. Now, let's say you do remember your past, but you don't carry all the pain and the resentment with it. You know that it happened, but you don't carry all the pain and the resentment with it. Sometimes your abusers are in their own kind of pain. We don't even know what that is, right? We don't know their story. We don't even know their layers. We don't even know if they were abused before. Beyond that, right? Sometimes people are only doing the best they can with the light that they have, and quite possibly the light they have is very dim. So what kind of enlightenment can get into a very dim space? We may need another candle to come in and light the space up. We might need somebody to come in and flip on a switch for us. And until that, the abuser's in a negative pattern. The abusers, and then when they come in, do you notice when a lot of abusers, unless they're in denial, they come into enlightenment about their behavior, they're totally remorseful. But a lot of people are running, some people are afraid. So we can't worry about what they do to get past whatever they're doing. We just got to take our power back. How do we do that? We got to do the inner work. So even if that means, ooh, and this is such a layered conversation, guys, this is not something that happens overnight, okay? Sometimes it comes from mirror work and loving on yourself, because some people fall out of love with themselves because the abuse happened to them. So you got to tell yourself you love you. You got to go inside and kiss your own boo-boos. You got to go find where they are, because awareness is the first key to change, right? If you don't know where something is or what something is, how will you know to heal it? So you got to go in and find out, where is the pain? Where is it coming from? Can I give this new meaning? I've been through it. Can't go back and change what's already happened. So now can I give this experience a new meaning? She gave it a new meaning. She started she finally found her voice. She finally spoke out. Sometimes the first step is getting angry enough, because you can get depressed, right? Depressed is helplessness and hopelessness. Helplessness meaning I don't even know if anybody can help me out of this space. Hopelessness means I don't even think somebody will come help me out of this space. Ouch. So sometimes to get up the emotional set point scale that we're on, we got to find the next best emotion. Sometimes the next best emotion is anger, because at least you're feeling something. You ain't hopeless. You're not helpless. Now, we don't want to stay there, because anger can be an unhealthy emotion to sit and make decisions and choices in. But if it's giving you something to get your power back into yourself, then it can be a healthy emotion in that moment. So sometimes it may be angry enough that nobody listened to me. Nobody, heard me. Whew. Okay, now you express that. Then it's, all right, now what do I do with this anger? Why are you angry? Well, this happened to me, and that happened to me. Okay, I'm sorry that happened to you. Say it to yourself. I'm sorry that happened to me. But at the same breath, if you had the experience, where's the gain? How can we find some gain in it? What do you know about yourself now because you've been through the abuse? What did you learn about yourself as a child because you've been through the abuse? Can you go back and help other babies that are being abused? There's power there. There are some of the most beautiful people walking the planet that have been abused in some ways. The most beautiful people, because they've been broken down and nothing, or they've been broken down and they've been hurt and they've been put on their knees. But the most beautiful human being comes out of the struggle. That's why even struggle is beautiful, because we get to emerge. Another layer of us yet again gets to emerge. We don't get so trapped in our ego. Gosh, you guys, there's a book out there called A New Earth. I came back to it. It's a blessing. Reminded me of all the ways that I've been going through some layers myself. To let things go, to come into another version of myself. To remember that everybody's a work in progress. To remember that some of us really are truly doing the best we can with the light we have, and it's so super dim until somebody or something comes in on and flips a switch on. Somebody else comes in and lights a candle, adds to your flame. So even from that, can you forgive the person? And then make it okay that it happened. And then say, what's the good? What's the gain that came from my experience? Right now, who am I because of my experience? Right now, if I let this go, who can I become? If I don't hold on to this, will I release the pain out of my back because I didn't feel supported? Will I release the pain out of my knees because I didn't feel I got the support I needed? Can I make it okay? Do I need to look at other people's situations where they've been through even worse abuse and see them be resilient? Can I follow their stories and get empowerment from that? Ooh, this is such a layered conversation, isn't it? Didn't know it was going here today. But there's so many reasons that we can forgive, because it's such a layered situation. And as much as the part of the pain body, the part of ourselves that's angry, that's hurt, that's in pain, that we're carrying around with us because the pain body is so addicted to itself, the pain, we forget that all these other perspectives are outside of us that are just waiting for us to access them and let ourselves and other people off the hook. Because sometimes people just don't know better. And sometimes even when they do, if they're in denial of that and they don't choose to do better, we can't do nothing about it anyway. So we gonna keep letting our joy hinge on their unwillingness to do right by us? No. You got the rest of your life ahead of you, God willing. You got to release them. Make it okay. That's them. That's their story. They got to work through their story. I just heard of an abuser the other day, someone who had been abused by them. He didn't died twice, came back, they had his legs amputated. I said, my goodness, talk about pain body relieving itself in itself. You are self-destructing. Trust me, the abuser is not in this healthy state of being. So sometimes there's empathy or sympathy for that. Like, yo, For you to do something on that level, that what's going on in you? Let me go ahead and let me forgive you. Because you don't even know what you do, what you're doing. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. What kind of karma is that creating for you in parts of your life that I can't even see? And by me letting you go, by me forgiving you, maybe that'll create the space for the Most High to get in there. Maybe my forgiveness is the gap for you. Oh, come on. Maybe my forgiveness is the gap for you, for God to step in and start working on you because I let it go. There's flow. It's flow. And then today I get this message where after all this time, her mom says, I saw when he walked in what happened to your energetic space, and the light bulb went off. And she just broke down crying to her. And she said, I'm sorry. I couldn't see it before. I didn't want to see it. But now I see it. And I said, that's the power. And I told my student, I said, that's the power of healing. Who knows if that would have happened? We don't know the day or the time. But how do we know that by us letting go and being willing to forgive, being willing to let go, being willing to give the situation new meaning, being willing to look for the good, being willing to grasp, freaking search for the gain, that it creates the space for healing, for other people to see. It loosens the grip on the reality we think we're in so that another reality can set in, and bam, a shift happens. Like we don't, it's so layered, yeah? But she had already been doing the work on the inside. She had already been giving things new meaning. She had already been letting go. It wasn't that she was okay with what he did, right? But she's like, I can't, what is it serving me? How is it serving me to keep holding on to it like this? Because it's doing nothing but affecting my ability to be joyful in the moment. It's doing nothing but affecting my physical body. I may be holding all this pain in my weight. It's time to let go. And to realize that sometimes truly people are doing the best they can with the light that they have, and sometimes their light is dim. They can't see. And we don't even know why they can't see. Did they get abused? Are they in some level of pain? Have they been confused and lost and in darkness? Do they experience some level of self-shaming that we could never see? What did they see? What have they seen? Wow, we deep dive today, huh? Does anybody want to say anything about that? I'm not so sure if I want to continue or just let that marinate with us. Ha! Shout out to fasting. Oh, hello. Hey, Rel. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of unpacking we just did, Rel. I might be complete. Shout out to forgiveness. Shout out to letting go. Right, Robert. Vicious cycle. Bless up, Delmar. So look at the power in letting that go. Look at the power in forgiveness. Look at the power in stretching your perspective about the situation. Look at the power in that. Look at how it can free you. Look at how within that is your freedom. Bless up, Joseph. It's a practice. Because the pain body wants to live. The pain body is so used to being the pain body, it doesn't know how to let go of the story. Quite possibly so much of who you are has been built around your story of that. Are you willing to change your story? No right or wrongs here. We're just coming into awareness of quite possibly that being it too. And if we're really looking for real change and real forgiveness and real letting go and getting our happiness back for real, maybe there's a lot of jewels tucked within this to try. And of course, this can span to any type of pain we're dealing with, especially emotional, spiritual. Because a lot of that can relieve itself in the physical body, cause the physical pain, and we don't even realize it, right? It could be a lack of healing from the inside, a lack of forgiveness, a lack of letting something go. Wow. Shout out to Morning Talks with Ro today. I'm sending you guys a lot of love, a lot of support. I hope you got much gain from it. If there's anything that you feel you want to discuss with me, or if you want any one-on-one coaching with me, you can go to rhonabennett.com and book a session, or reach out to me in a private message and I can take care of you from there. If there's something you're ready to work on and move through, if there's something that I said today that you don't understand, that you feel like you want to get more clarity about, if there's something you disagree with, I'm willing to stretch. You know? So I'm sending love your way, everybody. Bless up, Christina. I hope you guys got much gain from this. I totally did not expect for today's conversation to go in that direction. But how powerful. God bless you guys. I'll see you next week.